What's going on, people, and welcome to Man Knows Football. You are here with Guni straight after an emphatic Chelsea win away at the King Power Stadium 3-0, and Leicester were lucky that it wasn't going to be 6 or 7. We did have 3 goals that were disallowed by offside, and rightfully so, but it just goes to show how ruthless and relentless we were today. But before I do get carried away, 2 things you lot need to know. The first one is Guni got his clean sheet. Guni got his clean sheet. Nah, 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 nah. Yes, I got that clean sheet that I love so much. So thank you, Chelsea Football Club. And the second thing is this, is make sure you do like, share, subscribe. Leave your thoughts down there in the comments as well. You get me? I always like to know what you lot think, because you lot always give me a new perspective. I don't know everything. I also learn from you guys as much as I learn from the professionals. So big up yourselves and continue to be teaching, Guni. You get me? Each one teach one, blood. I'm a big fan of that. But we're going to get into today's game. You get me? We're going to start off with the lineups. And I'm just going to go into Chelsea's lineup, to be honest with you, just in the interest of just keeping this short and sweet, because there is actually a lot to cover in this video, because the performance today was just mind-blowing. So there's a lot to cover. But we'll start off with the Chelsea lineup. Edouard Mendy, world-class form again today, was called upon a few times and definitely stood up to the mantle and did what he was supposed to do. You get me? So Mendy was in the goal. Our centre-back trio of Rudiger, Thiago Silva and Chalobah. Our midfield pivot of Jorginho and N'Golo Kante, with the wing-back supporting them Ben Chilwell and Reece James. Up front was Callum Hudson-Odoi, Kai Havertz and Mason Mount. And on the bench for Chelsea was Kepa, Marcos Alonso, Andreas Christensen, Christian Pulisic, Timo Werner, Ruben Loftus-Cheek, Ross Barkley, Hakim Ziyech and Cesar Azpilicueta. Now, Leicester, interestingly enough, decided to match us with our back three. Leicester decided to play a back three against us. I didn't think it was a good idea as well. And what didn't help them as well was that Yuri Tillemans is still injured. Obviously, Fofana is going to be out for the rest of the season. And Maddison wasn't 100% up to full fitness, but he did make an appearance today, but wasn't able to start the game. So Leicester, and as well, they didn't have their wing-back, Ricardo Pereira, who I rate very highly. I think is a very good wing-back. He just has injury issues. He's very injury-prone, is Ricardo. But those 3 were huge misses for Leicester today, and it showed. And straight off the bat, as soon as the whistle went, it was just dominant central for Chelsea. First opportunity presented itself. Ben Chilwell gets through clean. Well, not clean, he was under pressure, but yeah, then Ben Chilwell gets through. Really should have made it 1-0, but hits the crossbar. I thought Chile was just going to pick his bottom corner and just guide it in there, but the defender did enough, and the goalkeeper came out just at the right time to put off Ben Chilwell. As good as Chilwell is in front of goal, we also have to remember he is a wing-back, he is not a striker, so his conversion rate is not going to be as good as a striker, naturally. So big up Chilwell for finding yourself in the right position. You get me? But yeah, from there, we was just getting way through. We was getting through Leicester's midfield way too easily. The balls that were just bypassing Leicester, left, right, and centre. And I was absolutely amazed at the time and space that they were giving our playmaker Jorginho, who thrived off it, by the way. And this is my thing. Jorginho had an out. He was really good. The playmaker today was just A1. Magnificent, you get me? But with that profile of player, the last thing you want to do is give him space. Let me give you Fabregas, for example. Obviously, I'm not trying to compare the two. Fabregas was on a different level. Why? Because he wore the magic hat. He could have played for Arsenal, but he said, no, fuck that. You get me? But it is what it is. Like, Fabregas was on a different sort of level. But Jorginho has that kind of skill set, you get me, where he can be the metronome and control the game. Those are the players you really want to have marked tightly, not given no time to make any kind of decisions. You want to be onto those players. But for one reason or another, Leicester decided to leave Jorginho and N'Golo Kante as well, which brings me on to N'Golo Kante's goal. But we're going to start from the right-hand side of the field, because Reece James, without that piece of play, we wouldn't have seen 2-0 at that point anyway. Reece James, he receives the ball from Trevor Chalobah, right? He's in the opponent's half, but it looks like he's coming back to receive it and to continue to play it back to the defenders. But what he does do instead, he fakes his player, lets the ball go across him. Now we're in an attacking transition. You understand? So Reece James has gone forward. He's picked out N'Golo Kante in the midfield. Now, this is what boggled my mind. Although I didn't expect N'Golo Kante to finish it the way he did, but in the Premier League, why, oh why, would you give any midfielder in the Premier League that much space, that much time to drive forward, because Kante was completely unchallenged. It's as if they gave him the red carpet and the keys to Leicester and said, here we go, N'Golo Kante, you won us the Premier League, just go through and go, you deserve it. And that's exactly what happened. He drove forward, picked up his head, and of all feet to use, Kante used his weaker foot, left foot, absolutely pinged it, boom, 2-0, deserved. Leicester can't complain and say that that was against the run of play. We was absolutely all over them. And it was just like a tactical masterclass from Tuchel and a tactical disaster class from Brendan Rodgers. I don't know what Brendan was thinking. No idea. But those tactics today, they were not it. So the first half comes to a close and we're comfortably up. We're going into the second half just off the back of that first half, and we was just going to pick up from where we left off, and that's exactly what was happening. Just relentless attack going forward. We were just keeping possession comfortably and confidently. We weren't losing the ball as much as Leicester were. Leicester just looked completely shaken. They looked like they were the away team. Honestly, Edouard Mendy didn't really have that much to do, but he did have a few saves to make in the second half. And it's like I say, you see with goalkeepers, this is what you got to understand. You see with players like Mendy, goalies like Mendy that play in teams that might have possession for most of the game and that might control most of the game. They might not have much to do in the game, but I tell you what's very difficult is when it's the time to be called upon to switch that concentration on and get yourself back into the mind frame of that game to be able to react. And he did that again, time and time again. Time and time again, we see Edouard Mendy. His concentration is second to none. Another world-class performance from him today, although he made maybe 2 or 3 saves, but just look at the saves. Absolutely fantastic. Big up Grant as well, yeah? Because he did say today was proof that Mendy would have saved that shot from Tielemans in the FA Cup final. I just thought that one was funny, but big up my boy Grant. You get me? Dominance. From our defence to the top, it was just dominance. Then obviously we made our substitutions. 2 of the players that did come off, they didn't have the best games, I will say. And there's reasons for one of them. I'd say Mason Mount, just come back from that tooth surgery, recently back into training, getting back into the fold. Don't expect him really to be at his tip-top best. You get me? But he was average. He wasn't poor. He wasn't outstanding. He was average. Kai Havertz, on the other hand, I did feel that he was quite average as well, and I don't want to see any more average games from him. Do you know why I'm so frustrated and why I get onto him? Because I know the standard. There's a standard with Kai Havertz, and he's not shown it enough. And I feel again today, although he did make a few intelligent runs and he was part of that attack that was giving Leicester a difficult time, I want to see more output from him. I want to see him score. You understand? And as I'm recording this, Watford have just scored the second goal. It is 2-0 to Watford against Manchester United. Ollie's at the wheel. Ollie's at the wheel. Yeah, man, it's a car crash. I hope you're wearing your fucking seatbelt, lads, because this is a mess, bro. But yeah, onto the top of the table, you get me? So that's it. That's 2-0. The substitutions are made. As soon as Pulisic comes on, as soon as Hakim Ziyech come on, you could see the dynamics going forward were completely different. We became even more threatening going forward. The runs that Christian Pulisic was making today, he could have a case for playing that false 9 position as well, because he made some excellent runs. He absolutely pulled those defenders. He left them in no man's land. He was just ghosting all of them. And the thing is with Pulisic is that he misses an easy opportunity. Not saying that he did this game, but he gets himself back into another position. That's what I love about Pulisic. So if he can stay fit, you know we're going to get goals coming from him. You get me? And that's what he was, and that's what he was doing. That's what he was doing. And to be honest with you, Hakim Ziyech as well. Ziyech came on and he looked like a different player. Now, I think I've got an explanation for that. If you notice, especially in this game today, you saw our wing-backs, they were tucking in a lot. And they were occupying like the attacking position. So those times where we didn't have anyone in that number 9 position to play that final ball to, or where it was just empty, we either had Chilwell or we had Reece James there. And we're lucky to have those 2 players. And I know why Tuchel gave them the license there, because for wing-backs, they are clinical finishers. Now, they're not going to have the conversion rate of what a striker is, or maybe an attacking midfielder or a winger is. But those 2, their numbers are quite impressive in front of goal, and they're able to get back. They're 2 fantastic football players. And today we showed it worked. And what that does is, is the players on the opposition. The Leicester players don't know who to pick up, so it creates confusion, as you saw. And with a player like Reece James, who's a complete baller, who understands space, who understands to time his runs, and who can strike a ball, who can do everything, it's an absolute nightmare having to come up against something like that. I say that to say this about Ziyech and Callum Hudson-Odoi. To me, it looked like Tuchel, by doing that, allowing them wing-backs to cut inside, it allows them to stay out wide. And them two staying out wide is playing to their strengths, because Callum, you saw him isolating that defender one-on-one, not being scared to beat that defender, winning fouls in dangerous positions. Callum is coming into his own, and I think Tuchel's starting to see the strengths that, Callum's strengths, and he's starting to play to them. Similar with Ziyech. Today, I saw Ziyech one-on-one in isolating man one-on-one, and just... bro, he looked like he was feeling himself, but he was getting the end product. And he did get his end product because the third goal did come from a Ziyech assist. Isolated that defender one-on-one, took him to lunch, played him in the box, found Christian Pulisic, who leached onto the end of it. A bit of a scrappy finish, but the positioning again with Pulisic, those runs, the timing of the runs, the ability to sniff the danger. Pulisic was there. Put it through Schmeichel's legs. 3-0, that was basically all she wrote. You would think so. But then after that, I'm not going to go into too much detail with them because they were disallowed. And you know, Guni, I'm a very harsh critic. Them things don't really matter to me. But we did have 3 goals that were disallowed. And one of them was a beautiful piece of football. Again, my favourite academy player, Reece James, capped off that move. But the intricate passing, the positioning, the movement, Leicester couldn't pick up any one of our players. And Reece James, with that finish, this is what I mean. For a wing-back, Reece James has no right to be finishing these opportunities. He's just a different level. He's different gravy. He can play wing-back, right-back, centre-mid, defensive mid, right centre-back. This guy is a complete baller. Big up Reece James, you get me? So we just smashed them from pillar to post, man, for the 90 minutes. And it was a very, very encouraging performance. Very encouraging. And another thing that I want to emphasise is this. We left £150 million worth of attacking talent off the field today. And yet we're still getting these results. And yet it could have been 6 or 7-0. So to those critics that are watching Chelsea and that are saying we're not getting enough goals, it's going to be a problem for us later on in the season. It's rubbish, it's nonsense. Because we can continue this season getting goals from elsewhere. Our wing backs are chipping in. You get me? We get contribution from our midfield from time to time. Our attackers do get goals. But Lingali's going to be back. Timo's going to be back. These men are going to be scoring goals. Callum Hudson-Odoi is showing his form. He's getting better. You get me? Hopefully Ziyech, if he's continued to be used in that role, we'll see an improvement from him. This does nothing but benefit Chelsea Football Club. You understand? We're in a very, very good position here. As of now, while I'm speaking, we are 6 points, top of the table. We are clear. It could have been 9 if we'd beat... Sorry, not 9 points. It could have been 8 points had we had dealt with Burnley the way we were supposed to. But it's like I said, we're allowed 1. And the job that the boys done today was absolutely amazing. Now I've got to get on to individual performances. Edouard Mendy I've spoke about. I'm not going to say too much more on him. I've got to go with the back 3. Rudiger. Best in the world. You get me? Now, this is the thing. I can't tell you who's better between Rudiger and Thiago Silva. Those two for me are the best centre-backs in the world currently. On the form that they're on, you can't tell me nothing. Them two are the best. Rudiger again chipped in today with a goal with a lovely glancing header that did beat Kasper Schmeichel. It was assisted by Ben Chilwell as well. I had to throw that in for the Leicester fans because your fan base booed Chilwell, and even worse than that, you boo N'Golo Kante. How do you boo N'Golo Kante? Do you not have a soul, blood? Like, seriously, do you like watching, like, Care Bears get tortured and them thing there? How can you not like N'Golo Kante, bro, and boo him? Yeah, you lot got issues, blood. I hope the FA write you a letter and say, bruv, it's unacceptable to boo N'Golo Kante. You man should be fined and banned, pricks. Yeah? Leave N'Golo alone. But, yo, look, Kante today, for me, he was my man of the match. Absolutely was man of the match. But I was on the... You see how gassed I am? I forgot I was on the defenders. But Rudiger, defensively, just on point. That leadership, he's just getting better and better and better each game. And I do believe that Thiago Silva has schooled him, because that change, bro. Thiago Silva and Tuchel schooled this man. Because that change is just unparalleled. We must keep him, and I hope he does sign that contract. And I hope talks continue to be positive. But big up Rudiger. Thiago Silva. That guy, listen... That guy, there's no one better than him, bro. The only one in conversation for me is Rudiger. And the reason why I put Rudiger next to Thiago like that is because, boy, he's just been elite this year. But Thiago, man, the leadership, the balls that he plays from the back are just majestic, man. He sees the game. The picture that he sees is A, way faster than everybody else's. B, it's a beautiful fucking picture. He is an absolute top baller, and I would love to see him add another major trophy. Imagine that. He's able to lift the Premier League as well before he bows out. He has had an amazing career. No doubt he's one of the world's greats. Yeah, and might leave Chelsea as one of the greats in the short time that he's been. Look at what he's won for the club. If he wins the Prem this year, boy, listen. Big up Thiago again, another flawless performance, another leader's performance. Then you've got Trevor Chalobah as well. This boy don't put a foot in wrong. And the thing is as well, most youngsters, yeah, when they're trying to break into teams, they like to play the safe option, safe option, safe option. Trevor takes risk. He don't give a shit about that. And that's what puts him a cut above these other young centre-backs coming up. I wouldn't replace Trevor for no young centre-back in the world. None. Thank goodness we have Trevor. And thank goodness we have Cobham. You get me? Let me get into the midfield. Jorginho, the playmaking was on point. But Leicester made it easy for him. They didn't really press him. They weren't really, like, you get me? And you can't, and it's like I just explained, bruv, yeah? You can't give creative players, you can't give metronomes, you can't give registers time and space because they'll just dominate. They'll pick the passes they want to pick out. They'll control the game. They'll set the tempo. It becomes a huge, huge problem. We saw that with Fabregas, and again, I'll emphasize, Jorginho and Fabregas, different stratospheres. You get me? One wears a magic hat, the other one is just a bad boy, innit? We ain't gonna diss Jorginho. Callum Hudson-Odoi, again, what more do I have to say about him? Isolating defenders one-on-one, winning fouls in dangerous positions, providing goal threats. Callum is coming into the player that a lot of Chelsea fans believed he was going to become. Hopefully this development will continue because he seems to be a name that's going to be difficult to come off the team sheet. Even if Timo Werner comes back fit, he might keep his name in there. Big up Callum. Hakim Ziyech, praised him enough already. You get me? Christian Pulisic, I believe he could do that false nine role. I'm not even joking. Because the runs that this guy makes are so intelligent. The only bit of criticism that I'll have is that he needs to learn to time his runs a little bit better. You get me? And it's not just him. Ben Chilwell does as well. And another thing that we do need to do is we have to work on the weight on that of that pass in the final third. Because too often, especially in the first half or when we're starting games, when we could just, all we need is just that perfect weight for the final ball, but too often it's over here. And N'Golo Kante being one of those culprits. Mason Mount being one of those culprits. You get me? But in the game, we got better and obviously you saw the result. But yeah, man, today it was just a masterclass. Thomas Tuchel scored a 10 out of 10 for me today. £150 million worth of talent that weren't even on the pitch, and yet we still got this emphatic result. So to those people that are saying, oh, your attackers are not scoring enough, you can't sustain it with your defenders scoring all the time, nonsense. It's rubbish. And it's like I've said to you before, Chelsea have been a team where we have got goals all over the field. It's not foreign for our defenders to score goals, our midfielders to sometimes chip in with goals. Not even back in the day, it weren't sometimes. Our midfielders were banging in goals, you get me? Bro, that's a benefit to me. That's not no diss to Chelsea Football Club. That's a compliment, and just starting to see it now. We're only going to strengthen going forward, because what happens when Bellingham and Werner come back? We just get stronger. So we are set up for this next run of difficult games. We do have Manchester United coming up pretty soon. So look, they are losing 2-0 as I speak right now to Watford, and hopefully this may continue and Solskjaer does keep his job. But I couldn't care less what other teams are doing. Currently, Chelsea are 6 points clear at the top of the league. Leicester and Manchester City better get their 3 points because Chelsea don't look like slowing down anytime soon. Yeah, man. So for the match preview, that's it. Post-match, that's it. My man of the match, N'Golo Kante. Why? He covered every blade of grass, and then that left foot finish, it was just the icing on the cake for me. Thiago Silva could have got it as well. I'm not going to lie to you. Very, very close from Thiago Silva. And I'm sure many of you might even say he was your man of the match. But overall, it was just an amazing performance. Thomas Tuchel, 10 out of 10 today. Tactically, I loved what I saw today. I love seeing those wing-backs cutting inside and leaving the wide attacking players in their wide positions, playing to their strengths. We're just getting better and better. Best manager in the world. We're coming for this title this year. Listen, man. up the Blues. Keep the blue flag flying high, you get me? But before I go, please make sure you do like, share, subscribe. Leave your thoughts down there in the comments as well. All of that good stuff. But big up yourself to everybody that's watching, you get me? Thanks for all of the support. The news did come out that I did leave back again, and to everybody that's shown support and wished me luck on my further adventures, thank you so much. This ain't gonna stop. And another thing that I do want to say is that there's no bad vibes between me and Troops at all. There ain't. That guy's my bridge and his fam, you get me? Zara as well. I love all of, there's good people over there at Barstool, but sometimes things behind the scenes don't always work out the way you want them to be, but there's never any hate to them. I gained a lot of experience from that. I enjoyed every minute of working with Troops and Zara. It was an amazing experience. The doors are not fully closed, I will say that. Maybe in the future you might see Guni back on the platform, back again with Zara and Troops. But for now, it looks like Guni's back on Man Knows Football, you get me? Back on this platform. And I might be featuring on one or two others. Obviously, you lot follow this channel, you lot subscribe and hit the notification bell as well. So I will definitely let you know where else I will be featuring going forward. But big up every single one of you for your support. Absolutely love you, innit? And big up everybody there at Barstool Sports and back again. Man wishes you the best of luck. And obviously, you're going to see me about with Troops and Amanda anyway. You get me? Between me and him, we're all good. But to everybody watching, whatever you're doing, wherever you are, please be safe, man. Bless.